Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. Republicans have essentially begun impeachment proceedings, and I will explain exactly why to my super chat. I cannot thank you enough. If you enjoy these live streams, your super chat support is greatly, greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts on this, the bank failures, any topic within reason. Via super chat, your support is greatly, greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, impeachment has essentially begun. Now, the Republicans, the House Republicans, Trump Republicans have obtained Hunter's tax returns. There's a very interesting and amusing article in Vanity Fair. The GOP's Hunter obsession is reaching new heights of hypocrisy. Then it goes on to say, wait, they halted the investigation into Trump's taxes. Trump has been investigated for 7 years. They've never stopped investigating Trump. The Mueller probe found nothing. New York did not find anything with his tax. They already have his tax returns. New York Democrats have Trump's tax returns. They found nothing. He has not been indicted or charged. They might indict him on the Stormy issue. Just because they have nothing to go after the man, they despise him so much, and they level government, whether it's state or federal government, at him. They can't stand him. D'Artagnan, hello! So, they thank you very much to my super chat. Thank you, starting it off. D'Artagnan, thank you. Thank you, sir. So, yeah, of course House Republicans are going to stop the investigations into Trump. He's a Republican. The Democrats didn't investigate Hillary or her server, or, there were no Democrats calling to investigate Clinton, as she was siphoning top-secret intel onto servers, which is pretty much impossible to do, but they found a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Carrie, hello. I think Hillary Clinton's going to be the 24 nominee. I do. But ladies and gentlemen, there are 150 activity reports that were investigated by banks. Trump doesn't have that. There is no Trump. There is no equivalent here. So you have a situation where I don't think people realize what's taking place. This is the groundwork for impeachment. James, hello. Nobody really understands creating. Hello. Eric, hello. Kristen, hello. Nobody really sees impeachment. Just because, it's there. I guess the Durham probe was a letdown for a lot of people, and they don't see this happening. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the reason they're starting with his bank records, and we'll just read this right here, is because it leads to felonies for Joe and Hunter. Now, Trump doesn't have any suspicious activity reports. If he did, that would be a huge, huge issue. But he doesn't have any. If he did, again, they would look into it. But they can't find anything on Trump. He wasn't an operative of the Kremlin. He didn't commit any crimes with his tax returns. He didn't commit any crimes with classified data. That's why they haven't indicted him. It's not for lack of trying. They're desperate to get this man out of 24. They are desperate. They would sign a pact with the devil tomorrow. Oh, my God. They would give their souls to Satan tomorrow if they could just get Trump indicted. And they probably indict him in New York for the Stormy thing. Because it's a state, it would be an indictment from a state-level indictment, okay? Rob, hello. So it would be a state-level indictment. You couldn't pardon Trump. And it's really interesting because the Democratic Party is paving the way for endless investigations of Biden after he leaves office. Alice, hello. So House GOP gains access to Hunter's banking records from Treasury Department. Trump doesn't have these very bizarre. Albert, hello. Banking. Hello, Albert. Thank you for your service to this country. Albert Silva, thank you. House GOP gains access to Hunter's banking records. They already have Trump's banking records. They couldn't find anything. Southern Sass, hello. They couldn't find it. The banking records are part of a wide-range House Republican investigation into Hunter and his business associates, which the White House and congressional Democrats dismiss as political. Of course it's political. Yes, it's political. Everything about Trump was political. Do the Democrats think that all of their endless obsession with Trump isn't purely politics? They're going to impeach Biden for actual felonies. You can't sell out the country just to gain money. You can't rewrite according to Ted Cruz, okay? This isn't a conspiratorial theory. Oh my God. According to Ted Cruz, Hunter rewrote classified data. There's endless, and this is endless criminality. According to Ted Cruz, Chuck Grassley, and James Comer, Hunter might have possibly rewritten or summarized classified data to facilitate and acquire business deals abroad. Okay, so that might have taken place. Dino, hello. That might have taken place. Adam, hello. So basically, that in addition to the very bizarre emails, here's one of the emails, okay? This is the only email you need to know. It really is, in addition to, thanks for introducing us to Joe, which Joe lied about. This is the email right here. How can you use your influence on the company's behalf? Okay, right here. An earlier email shows reportedly number 3 exec asking Hunter for, quote, advice on how you could use your influence on the company's behalf. They're literally being accused of influence peddling, and this is literally an email stating, how can you use your influence? But that's not enough for government law enforcement agencies. It's not enough, apparently. PH Joy, hello. So, you have to understand, this is pretty clear cut. This is not, this is not difficult to understand. Even wonderful, morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats can understand. The impeachment of Biden will deal with actual felonies. Not, he tried to pressure another country to investigate his direct political rival. Oh, democracy. Our republic has been tarnished. Everything is this grandiose, theatrical, dramatic melodrama that they create. Oh, democracy. And then they actually have this as one of their considerations. What was it? Threats to our republic, our democracy. What are you talking about? These are all very esoteric, subjective, philosophical discussions. Okay, this has nothing to do with you hiding and censoring Hunter's laptop, which is exactly what happened. Okay, the reason they censored the laptop is because it leads to felonies. That's the reason. That's the reason. It's not because, it was information from another country. It's the truth, this is the way they think. It's really hilarious. You see this on Twitter. I don't have Twitter, but I just see what people write. They're imagine being on the same side as the Putin. It's well, are you talking about something that's accurate and true? What does it matter where you get the information if it's true? What on earth does it, even, let's just say the DNC emails were a plot by another country to inform you that Bernie was cheated by the good, wonderful Democrats who love democracy, who can't even run a functioning primary. What does it matter? I don't understand why it would matter if the truth, it's then prove it in a court of law. They still haven't. They didn't even give the DNC servers to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So you haven't proven anything. You cannot state categorically that the DNC was hacked by anybody. Nobody has ever seen their servers, aside from a corporation that they paid. They paid a corporation to then say, oh, we saw everything and it was a plot. And the whole thing is so absurd. It's unbelievable how absurd everything is. And people just go along with it. They just go along with it. They just go along with it like, oh, yeah, it was information meant to misinform because, J-E, it was information meant to misinform by the Kremlin. Because if you knew the truth about Bernie Sanders, you'd vote for Trump. Why is it that all the information we find out about Democrats makes a person vote Trump? And furthermore, why would it be in the national interest of our adversaries to have people vote Trump? If anything, we were a much better off country. We had a better economy. We didn't have inflation through the roof. And we had inflation at 2% when Biden took office. It's now at 6+%. And they're so happy every time it's like 6.3. It went down to 6.1. It's still over 6%. Or like 5.9%. It's still over all of it. You can't have a functioning economy. That's why corporate profits will eventually decline to where they were in 2019. The market's going to crash to where it was in 2019. It's 6,000 points down. So, you're talking about a 6,000 point drop in the Dow. So it's like, these people, it's hilarious. Then, like, for example, tonight I spoke to a very intelligent person. Very intelligent. I said, look, I'm voting Trump because I want Americans home. I don't want them in never-ending wars. And then the person said, well, Biden wants the same thing. No, he doesn't. He brought home Americans. That was the Doha Agreement that Trump negotiated. Again, it's people that, look, a lot of people who look at Trump as this madman, this monster, they think that Biden can do the same thing as Trump or have this, like, all the good qualities that Trump has, they think Biden has the same good qualities. But that's not the case. That's not the case. It's like, you're voting Trump because of foreign policy. We're 90 seconds to midnight, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. It's directly because of the invasion in Europe, which wouldn't have taken place under Trump, because Trump would have emphasized some kind of negotiated deal or settlement. I don't know what the benefit is. There's a hardline stance in every country. There's always, the two countries were at a point where, had the United States last year been very active in trying to broker some kind of peace or negotiated settlement, all of the atrocities, all of that wouldn't have taken place. Rob White, B can't hide. That's right. That's right. They can't. Rob, thank you. To my super chat, thank you again. D'Artagnan, Rob, thank you. And so it's like they committed felonies, okay? You cannot, first of all, you can't lie. The vice president cannot lie about meeting business associates who are giving money for influence. That's number one, okay? It is a crime for the vice president of the United States of America to use any influence in order to facilitate or reward a business deal. Now, they keep saying that, no, my God, you know what? Biden forced out a prosecutor because the prosecutor wasn't doing a good job. That is not the vice president's responsibility. Sorry, it's never happened before, and if it has, please, I'd love to know if Al Gore or George W. Bush, when he was vice president, I'd love to know when they actually forced out a prosecutor when they had a family member on the board of directors of a company who would have benefited. I mean, they get caught with their hands in the cookie jar, with their pants down. Oh, don't bring that up. And it's like right there, you see them. You see them like right there. Like you know the criminal activity is right in front of you. And they're like, oh, he had to do that. Don't you understand? He had to force out that prosecutor. For what purpose? What purpose? Oh, well, it was well known he wasn't doing his job. He's an American vice president. Oh, and by the way, it's never happened before. An American vice president has never forced out any prosecutor anywhere. And if I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section. But he also, had potentially a financial interest. And he basically said, you're not going to get $1 billion in loan guarantees. So he told on himself, he said, oh yeah, and then they said, when the Council on Foreign Relations with Biden, he actually says, oh, and they said to him, you have no authority. Albert Silva! Albert, thank you, sir. Thank you, Albert. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, Albert. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated, sir. And thank you for your service to the country. Thank you so much, Albert. Biden actually stated, oh, and then they went to me and they said, oh, you don't have the authority to do so. The people who he was trying to intimidate literally told him that he did not have the power to withhold $1 billion in loan guarantees. If you look at his, like Biden telling on himself in front of the Council on Foreign Relations crowd, he says, oh, and then they said you don't have the right to do that. And then Biden says, well, go call the president. Go call President Obama. I've never heard President Obama say anything defending Biden regarding that. No one has ever asked President Obama if he gave Biden the authority to force out a prosecutor. It's never happened. Okay? It's never, ever happened. So nobody's ever asked President Obama anything regarding Hunter and Joe and that country, which we can't name because if you name the country, then it's a big problem for the algorithm. Then, under Biden's watch, the country gets invaded. Is there a pattern here? You think maybe there's a pattern? And then they say, could you imagine if it was invaded under Trump? Like, no, I couldn't, because it didn't happen, and it wouldn't have happened. And if it did happen, Trump would have desperately tried to stop the hostilities or cease the hostilities. But if you read The Atlantic, you read The Times, Washington Post, and by the way, like, I read the New York Times and all these, like, you could see lies by omission in every single paragraph of many of the articles, or I should say almost every single paragraph. There's a lie by omission. You can see it in Wikipedia too. Whenever there's something about a conservative publication, a conservative pundit, it's lies by omission. You only bring up the facts or the information that benefits a political cause or that bolsters a political viewpoint. You do not include the information that would bolster the opposing viewpoint. And then what they do, when they want to debunk, they always say debunk, refute, debunk, it's debunked. They give you a 10,000 word debunking, which isn't really a debunking. It's just a rebuttal in an ongoing debate. It'll be like 10,000 words. Okay? And it'll be like this tsunami of words and, this verbose monstrosity. Kind of like my live streams. And what they'll do is it's true. Every paragraph will be, it's true that Hunter laptop is real. It's true that the New York Post was censored. It's true this, it's true that, it's true this, it's true that. And then at the end, it'll be like, but you know what? Republicans have been seizing on this. Well, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Nothing has stuck with Trump. Democrats have been unable to do anything. Rob, what? Monica. Monica, my bro, have no reasonable prosecutor bring the case. Oh my goodness, I didn't read the last part. Rob White, thank you. JB, hello. Oh, I want to thank you so much, Rob. Everybody here, thank you. I just wish that there was a president. I wish that the presidency was classy again and moral, because I feel I'm morally superior. I think the Democrats are morally superior. We have so many good people like Michael Avenatti. We have Anthony Weiner, the aptly named. Let's see, who else? Alec Baldwin. Who else? We have so many good people. Juicy Smollett. All of Hollywood is so wonderful. Rob, thank you. Thank you to my super chat. I can't do this without you. Thank you. It's not going to matter, too. Like, here's the thing. Kaiser, hello. What they're going to do when they impeach Biden, Vanity Fair this is a phony, fake impeachment. Washington Post, New York Times, the phony impeachment, the fake impeachment. You should never believe that Biden was even impeached. In fact, we're going to have a resolution when we take back Congress to reverse Biden's impeachment because it's a fake, phony, ludicrous, absurd impeachment. Trump's 2 impeachments could have been 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. Well, those were actually definitely not political, even though he wasn't indicted for January. And he used the word peaceful and patriotic, but you know. So, it's about emotion. This is why, in football or baseball or basketball or hockey or any sports, there's a person who wins and a person who loses. It's not a matter of, you can look at the scoreboard and that's it. You could say, well, the ref, called, took it from us. That happens all the time. That happens all the time. But you know who won and you know who lost. There is no debate as to who won and who lost. Okay, so Skinner, hello. 67, hello. There's no debate as to who won or who lost. There's no debate as to who won or who lost in a sporting event. Okay? When you're talking about, Tucker Carlson, he painted the wrong narrative. A narrative is, by definition, a story or the viewpoint or vantage point of a story. You're giving your vantage point of what took place. You're narrating what took place. But if you forget to narrate that the funny dressed man was escorted throughout the building, that also is a problem. You're not providing all the information. So they're going to impeach Biden, and it's not going to be very difficult to do. It might take, towards the end of this year, But it's going to happen. Barnes, hello. It's going to happen because these are felonies. Look, James Comer, this is not difficult to do. Like, you have the Treasury Department. Treasury Department is given his banking records. So here you could just look. After 2 months, the Treasury Department finally providing us with access to the activity reports for Biden family. So there you go. There you go. The Democrats on the panel have criticized the inquiry as hyper-partisan. That's all they've been, is hyper-partisan. And of course it's partisan. It's the Republicans on them. What do you expect? You think Adam Schiff wasn't partisan? You think Kinzinger? Well, Kinzinger was a never-Trumper. You don't think he was partisan? He saw that CNN deal. He said he didn't cry, during the whole summer of $1 to $2 billion in property damage, 19 lives lost, thousands of officers injured, 14,000 arrests, according to Wikipedia. And I support why people demonstrated peacefully. But I mean, of course, everything that goes on in politics is partisan. The issue is whether or not it's accurate and whether people are lying. They say Trump is lying. Nobody has lied more than the people who went after Trump. They accused him of everything under the sun. Old Town, hello. It takes a long time because there is no media support, but they don't even need media support now. Because, look, they're going to impeach Biden. And Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to tomorrow. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, this is a good thing. He committed crimes. Okay? You don't have emails asking you, oh, by the way, and Biden lied about meeting Hunter's business associates. He should be asked, well, what were the meetings about? If the meetings were not criminal in nature, what is the problem? So he lied about, this is a greater lie than anything Trump has ever lied about, because they can't really accuse, Trump's greatest lies have to do with Sharpies or crowd size. They obsess over minutia with Trump. Or they twist and fabricate. Oh, he said everything was going to be okay. Well, so did Andrew Cuomo, and so did, you're wrong, Dr. Rand. So did all of these people. So did Pelosi. So, and, it's like, yeah, the White House dismissed, it's politically motivated. Oh, it's politically motivated. Well, yeah, it is politically motivated, but you also committed crimes, so. Despite the name, this is always the case when it's a Democrat. Despite the name, suspicious activity reports in banking don't necessarily suggest criminal activity. Yeah, but there's 150 of them. Hello? The reports cover transactions above. Yeah, there is also millions of dollars in transactions. The department received an estimated 3.6 million of those reports last year. Yeah, 150 of them were the Biden family. How many of them were Trump's? How about 0? Comer has asked Yellen for 150 alerts from U.S. banks. We're going to take our sweet time. And you know what? Honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, we have 150 reports. I think it was about credit card transactions that didn't go through. Probably that. Oh, by the way, inflation is only temporary. Just joking. So long, banking system. Last year, it's inflation is temporary and this is the best economy you've ever seen. Ooh, what's this? Let's lower interest rates after we went from 0.25 to 4.75%. Comer also seeks an action. Okay, 65,000 bankruptcies have been filed in Comer's Congress. What does that mean? Who cares? Republicans can investigate. It doesn't make any sense at all. After the same old disproven theories, literally nothing has been disproven. All we've only come to find out that these emails were legitimate, that they were not an attempt by another country, and that Joe met with Hunter's business associates. The New York Post has confirmed, almost essentially confirmed this. If indeed Joe did, then it's a big problem for Democrats. Because then you have a reason, then you have even more evidence that he forced out a prosecutor. So, okay, after going to go over Secretary Yellen on suspicious transactions of Biden associates, he followed up with, the reason they censored the New York Post, see, Trump never got the New York Times censored, okay? But Democrats got the New York Post censored, okay? Trump, they accused him of everything under the sun, nothing stuck, because they lied about everything. Then they're like, Trump lies, oh, he lies. Well, he was telling the truth. He wasn't a Russian operative. He didn't commit any tax fraud. What else? He didn't break any laws because he was a president with the power to declassify. So what do they have him on? They might get him on the Stormy issue. That's the one thing they might get him on. Just because it's salacious enough that they can, obsess over it. Here you have actual felonies. They're like, well, you can't prove anything. It's all conspiratorial, Anything true about the Democratic Party is either conspiratorial or a plot by another country, or it's bigoted. It's never like, oh, we got you. We actually found out that they're committing crimes. Treasury Department feels that they've been working to provide the information to the committee, but first had to consult with law enforcement officials. So, it's pretty clear cut. This is not rocket science. You have, they gave money to Hunter because of Joe. This is not, there's no Democrat on the planet that thinks that they gave money to Hunter just because they wanted to, or that they give money to the Clinton Foundation because they care about philanthropy. These are conduits. Hunter and the Clinton Foundation were conduits or middlemen to Joe and to Bill and Hillary. This is not like rocket science. If the tables were turned, Trump would have already been indicted if he was Hunter, or if Eric Trump or Donald Trump Jr. had Hunter's laptop and they were Hunter, they would have all been indicted already. The problem is that Joe is a Democrat, so they just, you can't prove anything. They stonewall and they prevent the truth from coming out. But not really, this isn't difficult. And also, you don't need to prove, we found this out with Trump. You don't actually need to prove a crime was committed. You can just be very suspicious and impeach based on that because it's a political statement. So there you go. You can read this out during the impeachment. You can put this, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene or Matt Gaetz has already put this in the impeachment, the articles of impeachment. Advice on how you can use your influence on the company's behalf. This is here. It's pretty obvious. This is a New York Post article. Here you go. This is the New York Post. Okay. This is the New York Post. Then the country gets invaded under their watch. And we had Twitter censoring. We had Twitter censoring the reporting. Okay. So, there's a reason that they censored the New York Post. There's a reason, okay? The reason was not because they really believed it was, an attempt by another country. This whole influence by another country, that's nonsense. What does it matter if it's the truth? What does it matter? It makes no sense at all. They still haven't even proven that another country wanted Trump in 2016. Where is the evidence? Citing an intel report is not evidence. That is nothing. And furthermore, it's nothing to do with national security. That has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with national security. Okay? Absolutely nothing to do with national security. This is... You're talking about foreign policy being altered because people close to the vice president and future president were given money. So, I mean, that is a serious thing. Okay, and then they're like, "Oh, kickbacks, no big deal." One person, like, kickbacks, no, but kickbacks. What did Trump do that's worse? Not like this grandiose, oh, he took our republic, he took our democracy, he took our constitution. No, what did he specifically do that's worse than kickbacks to alter U.S. foreign policy? What did he do that? I don't know. They accused him of being an operative of the Kremlin. That wasn't true. They accused him of tax crimes. That wasn't true. They accused him of classified data breach. That was very likely to even the score. So, Madam Secretary, I think Hillary Clinton will be the 24 nominee. She could very well win the presidency. I know I am the only person in all of YouTube saying this. But if Georgia and Arizona Republican parties would rather have Hillary, which they might, if they don't back Trump, if they back Trump in the same manner they backed Herschel Walker, then Hillary, if she's nominee, will get Georgia and get Arizona. So, plus you have Democratic senators there. You have Democratic governor in Arizona. So anything is possible. 24 is going to be the most important. 23 and 24. Tough it out, hello. 23 and 24 is going to be the most important, two most important years in modern U.S. history. Really, the two most important years in modern U.S. history. Because you're going to have a choice between Trump, who was a great president. I mean, he did great things. Okay, we have inflation. We have all of these problems, bank failures now, spy balloons. We have invasion in Europe. All of these problems. And a reverence towards, I mean, there's no freedom of speech anymore. Because you had Democrats, the Hunter laptop story is an example. You would get kicked off the internet if you talked about Hunter's laptop 3 years ago. Okay? That's how bad the censorship was. The truth about Democrats makes you vote Trump, apparently. The truth. That's what it comes down to. And, you know, it won't even matter. When they impeach Biden, it'll be like, oh, it's a phony impeachment. It was just purely political. Well, what do you think the impeachment of Trump was? They didn't even find a crime with Trump. They didn't even find a crime with Trump. And then when they couldn't find a crime, they're like, well, you know, it's a political statement. Then they always, like, move the goalposts. So, This is actually really big news, but I just, once they start actually they've already begun impeachment, but what they should really do is they have the banking records tomorrow. Or the next month, they should draft articles of impeachment. It's not difficult. This isn't rocket science. They already have more evidence than they ever did with Trump during the first or second impeachment. The first impeachment was a joke. They had people who thought he did something bad, and that's pretty much it. That they didn't have any actual evidence that he withheld anything. And the country got exactly what they claim he was withholding. And the leader of that country said he was never pressured. So I don't understand why he was still impeached. The second impeachment I can understand because the optics were terrible. So the optics were terrible. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very, very much. To my super chat, I cannot thank you enough. I will start off with an upload tomorrow morning. So be here at like noon or 11:30 noon. I will have I'll have a very important upload tomorrow at around 11:30, probably 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, and then of course we'll have the live streams in the evening, at around, I would say 5 o'clock or so. Thanks everybody. Thank you so very, very much. Check out the last live stream. It's doing quite well. It's already at 9,000 views in a couple of hours. And thanks, everyone. God bless. Eric, thank you. Everybody have a great, great evening. To my super chat, thank you again. I will see